Hello guys, my name is Vlad, I'm from Residence Angels, and finally we are back on YouTube with a lot of updates which can be considered as very important for us, for our company, because as you know we are handling a lot of cases of the foreigners in order to obtain temporary residence permits, permanent residence, long-term citizenship of Poland. We are also serving companies with obtaining work permits, so we have a lot of things to do with, but especially in this video, I will extract the most important things which you have to know, what will create very big impact on your life in Poland. Of course, please don't stress, they are not so much critical, but there are things that you have to know. So let's go one by one. I have my laptop here, so I will be reading at least the title because a lot of things should be discussed in this video. So let's jump deeper. So the first thing, document retention rules. So this law says that all the documents which related to employment, your employer has to keep for 2 years after you break employment relations with them. So it means that within your employment period and 2 years after, employer still will have your PESO ID, like documentation related with your address of registration, address of living, PESO number. So don't be surprised. All this information should be possessed by your employer. When you are signing the contract with a company, this contract should be in the language that you understand. It will not be possible anymore to sign the contract in Polish language if you do not speak Polish language. I know that a lot of employment agencies, a lot of factory jobs, employers who are providing such job, they are not interested in your understanding of the laws of your employment conditions and so on. So they are just giving you Polish version of the contract and that's all. But it will not be counted anymore, and such contract will not be legit. So when signing the contract, it should be in the language that you speak. It shouldn't be your native language. It can be, of course, but it shouldn't. So it can be in your native language, it can be in any other which you can speak fluently and normally understand. Another important update is that your employer, during your employment process, has to inform you about all the status of work permit procedure. So means they have to inform you when the case is submitted, when they received work permit, and whatever related with your employment. This is strictly mentioned in this law. Another important thing, but I don't know if you are so much oriented in labor relations in Poland, in labor culture. In Poland, they have Związek Zawodowy. This is like the type of community, labor community, which can push your company to increase salaries within your vacancy, or they can just fight for some certain rights for you. Like, for example, if you are facing with some race conflicts in your company, so they can help you with that for free. So just your employer has to inform you that you have a right to enter such communities, because, for example, Poczta Polska, as I heard, they have like almost 500 such communities where the staff has entered. So this is just for your evidence. I don't think how much it can be important for you, but I have to tell about that. Another thing is work permit fees. Please don't be confused with work permit and residence permit, because I know that when you're applying for residence card based on job, you're supposed to get work permit and residence permit all at once. But there is separate process, which is work permit process. So for that separate process, the fees from 100 will be increased. Till how much, we have no idea, because this information still didn't appear, but most probably it will be between 150 and 500. So let's find some average 250, let's say it will be the fees for the work permit in future. Now there will be very serious update. Work permit can be now refused in more cases. Immigration office got more power in order to refuse to your employer in work permit process. When it can happen? Actually, if you entered Poland in the purpose of job, but you never worked here, so this is the risk. If, for example, your employer was issuing work permits before to foreigners, but those foreigners were not coming to work in his company, there is a risk to get negative decision. In case if your employer is firing people but not informing about that to the immigration office, there is a risk to get negative decision in work permit or residence permit based on job, both. So in my opinion, when you're entering company, you have to listen your intuition. At least if this company is very small and they don't have any reviews, they don't have any statistic which they can provide to you on how much foreigners or how much staff was employed before, so it's a red flag and you have to run away from there. So because in case if this company has bad history in immigration office, you might get also negative decision in your residence card. So I think it's red flag which you have to consider as well. And finally, labor market test is removed from the list of the documents which you have to submit for your residence permit based on the job. Labor market test was that hell document which you have to obtain from the labor office. I mean, your employer had to obtain this, but now this document is not needed anymore. So, but what comes instead of it? Instead of it, now the local administrations, they have a power to decide how much foreigners can be hired within some special positions or within some local, mentioned territories. So, for example, in Warsaw, if they will say that, okay, within foreigners, there can be only 50 plumbers employed in Warsaw, so that will be strict limit. And in case if employers who are hiring foreigners for the position of plumbers will reach that limit, so no more work permits will be issued within this job position. So this update, I think it's very dangerous for employment agencies because they are working with big volumes for one specific position, like for example in chicken factories or warehouses, whatever. So it will hit on their activity, but still those limits, it's mentioned that those limits are not mandatory, so means they can appear, but also it's not much needed for them to decide about limits. Citizenship costs. Immigration office has increased immigration fees for those who are applying for citizenship through the voivode process or through the president process, both. In the first option, the fees will be increased to 1,000 zlotys from 219 to 1,000. And in second option, when people are applying for that so-called lottery, when you're asking president to give you a citizenship, and this is the longest process ever, like 2 years it may take, but still everybody has 50/50 chance to obtain this citizenship there. The cost will be increased to 1,669 zlotys. So it's for your evidence. If you still will submit your case before July 2025, you will be under old fees. But if your application will go from July 2025, you will have a new updated fees. And the most lovely update is related with post-secondary schools. They are called Szkoła Policealna in Polish. And everybody knows that every person can enter this type of school, even go for florist course for 1 year, where nothing is taught by Polish. So you just pack the flowers and do nothing, and just one time per month, so means 12 times in a year you have to visit that school and pass some local exam, which are very simply. So after you finish that school, you're obtaining a certificate of post-secondary education. So this certificate was supposed to make you free of B1 Polish language, but in case if you will obtain this type of certificate before end of June, and you will be applying for long-term residence or citizenship within period from July 2025 to July 2026, you will still be saved and you can use this document. Let's make a quick summary. What I mean, If you will obtain your post-secondary school certificate before 30th of June of 2025, and in case if you will use it in the process of long-term or citizenship before 30th of June 2026, then you will be saved and everything will go well. But in case if you will do any of this action later than I mentioned, then you have to pass Polish language at the level B1. Don't worry, it's not so difficult. If you already know that you are not qualifying for getting this certificate from post-secondary school, so start learning Polish. It's very funny, it's very interesting, and you will enjoy it for sure. Of course, it's useful if you are planning to live here for your future career and self-development. These changes are big, but they are not the reason of panic. In fact, they all are made in order to increase protection, and you will see it with time that you feel comfortable living in Poland, you feel safe living in Poland, and it will not be overcrowded, overloaded with processing, because a lot of things will impact on how the procedures are going, and we have very big hope that immigration office will start consider cases faster, at least at the level of 2017 or 2018, but this is my dream. If you have any questions or you have any query, you want assistance from the Residence Angels, we are happy to invite you for the consultation. Just contact us under this video or go to our webpage. There you will find all the needed contacts with our sales department, and we'll be happy to assist you in any issue. See you in next videos.